The Wirtgen W35DC is a small cold milling machine. It weighs around 4.5 tonnes and it's usually used for small-scale roadworks operations. The model comes in a small Wirtgen branded box which has got some nice photos of the real machine, but there's no information about it. Inside there are the usual couple of expanded polystyrene trays, and when you lift the lid, the model's sitting snugly inside wrapped in some soft paper. You need to lift it out carefully because it's small and it's got some delicate parts. And the only other thing in the box is a bag with some console covers, and we'll see that later. It's a very small model, but even so there are some nice details. The milling head has got individual cutting picks, and the tiny conveyor belt is rubber. Even though the rollers are tiny, they have holes in the flanges, and the outside of the discharge conveyor has got some nice detailing. Amazingly, for such a small model, the handrails are all metal and fine quality, and more great detail is the armoured hose and the red lifting shackle. Among the graphics is the grille on the side, but all of the graphics are sharp and crisp. And a nice touch is that the panel handles are painted. Wirtgen group models always have detailed controls, and this one has exceptional detail for the size. This is a CranesEtcTV safety advisory. When operating the W35DC, do not use it for disco dancing. Out on the test track, the little Wirtgen is small indeed, but it does try to roll along. And if you pick the model up, the tiny little roller wheels can be turned. The machine does also have working steering, and it does that through the single roller at the front. And that can just be angled either way. Of course, the little rollers struggle to grip on a smooth surface. Another nice little detail is the milling drum, which can be turned. But on this model there's more to the steering than meets the eye, because on top the little red indicator moves when you turn the roller. It works like this so the operator can see which way the steering's pointing, and it's a great little bit of model engineering to get it working on a model this size. Another very small little feature is that the operator's console has a little cover that can be clipped on, but it's fiddly because the model is so small, not because my fingers are the size of elephants' legs. So while we're at it, let's get those elephant's legs working again and take the cover back off, because you can also hang the cover off the rack behind the operator's seat. This is where it would normally be stored, and it does work, although it does fall off quite easily. Another working feature on the model is that the rear legs are extendable. If you pull them too far they come out, but you can just pop them back in. And just like on the real machine, it gives you some height adjustment when you're doing your milling. And again, it's an achievement by NZG to get the feature working in this size. There's also another feature which replicates one on the real machine, which is that you can take out a floodlight and then fold one of the legs right in, and that allows the machine to mill right up close to an edge. The real machine's got an optional conveyor, and that's provided on the model, and that allows it to discharge all of the milling arising straight into the bucket of another machine so it can be taken away. The model also has another unusual undocumented feature, which is that it disappears. This is one of the smallest 150 scale models that's made. But even so, NZG have packed it with interesting features and great detailing. And it continues the very high standard of models made for the Wirtgen group. For its size, it's an outstanding model.